Hello everyone. The Dutch government wants a connection between Schiphol Airport and the city of Antwerp in Belgium. Therefore, as you may know, the government decided to establish a high-speed rail connection. In such a large project, a lot of different parties are involved. Involved means that these people have an interest in the project in a certain way. They want things to change, since they are unsatisfied right now. Or they prefer a solution that someone else dislikes. For example, because that new highway will run through the backyard. Another way of having an interest is about having ideas about solutions, or being an expert on a certain area and wanting to share this knowledge with other stakeholders in the problem field. They all have their own interest and goals regarding to the project. That is what makes the projects very complex. The behavior of the stakeholders in a problem field determines the success of a project. Without proper collaboration between stakeholders, a good implementation of a solution will be impossible. Let's take a look at some examples. The government wanted to realize the high-speed rail connection, which was their goal to establish a fast connection between Schiphol Airport and Antwerp. Not participating, reasoned the government, would isolate the Netherlands from Europe, where more and more important cities were connected to a network of high-speed rail connections. That interest was not shared by all stakeholders. Let's take a look at the local residents. What is their interest? And how is their interest influenced by this rail connection?
En we hebben nogal last van de ASL-lijn die hierachter ligt. Die komt eens in het half uur langs. En vooral 's avonds. Maar ik denk vooral straks in de zomer als we buiten zitten dat we er echt onwijs veel last van gaan hebben.
A lot of stakeholders will have an opinion about this rail connection. And the more the connection has an influence on their interest, the opinion will get stronger. In the case of the local residents and noise nuisance, this is made clear. But they are not the only ones. Compared to the current situation, it became clear that the high-speed rail connection was less attractive to the user than predicted. The Dutch railways wanted to exploit the connection from Schiphol Airport to Antwerp and therefore offered a high bid to the government. The government chose, indeed, to award the high-speed rail transport on this connection on this line to the Dutch railways. When the standard train connection to Antwerp stopped, this led to a monopoly. Travelers were forced to pay an additional fee while traveling to Antwerp because there was no other fast train connection possible anymore. The example of the high-speed rail connection shows that different stakeholders stand for different goals and interests. And there are even more stakeholders in this field. Think about the constructors of the train material, the contractors that build the physical tracks, the engineering firm that makes the design, and the party that is responsible for the safety by certifying the project. As an analyst, you can ensure that the different stakeholders in the problem field gain more insight in the goals and interests of others. This tends to advance the collaboration and to reduce discussion, since there's no longer discussion about one solution being better than another. The discussion is no longer about solutions at all, but more about what the stakeholders want to achieve with a certain solution. With the help of the following method, you will be able to gain insight into the goals and interests of the different stakeholders involved. Let's go back to the example of the high-speed rail connection. Some important actors that are involved are the Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment, the traveller that makes use of the new connection, and an inhabitant that lives nearby the railway. Here you see the Minister of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment. She has developed a policy on improving the connection between Amsterdam Airport Schiphol and Antwerp. The solution that eventually will be chosen to provide this new connection will always have positive or negative consequences for some of the actors involved. This traveller demands a safe journey from one destination to another and prefers to keep the cost for travelling low. A solution to create a better connection should take into account the preference of this traveller. Another example of an actor that might be influenced by the new policy plans of the minister is this man that tries to read his newspaper in front yard. He lives nearby the railway. This man is a real-life enjoying kind of person and likes to live in a safe and healthy, but more important, a quiet environment. A new connection could possibly endanger this preferred solution. It is clear that these interests do not easily match with each other. When trying to find a feasible solution, the minister should somehow take into account these different interests of the inhabitant and the traveller. A first step doing this is listing all the different interests. A proper way to do this is in a table like this. This table provides a brief overview of the interest of the actors involved in creating a new connection from Amsterdam Airport to Antwerp. This particular table is quite small, because a lot of the actors that were actually involved in real life are left out. Just to have a simple example. Now that you have an idea about the different interests that are at stake, the next step is to actually do something with this information. The different interests somehow relate, each and every one in a different way to the problem. A first step is to formulate a problem statement for each actor. The minister, for instance, could use the next problem statement to create or find a solution acceptable for both herself as well as the people living near the railway line. How to provide a better connection between Amsterdam Airport and Antwerp without causing too much nuisance. Performing such an analysis in an early phase helps to prevent problems that might occur along the way of problem solving and contributes to finding a solution that is supported by all actors involved. We will show you two examples about the role of stakeholders in our daily lives. The first example comes from Jan Anne Annema, who is an expert in the area of transport and logistics.
Yeah, well, for a complex technical system as a high-speed line, there are many actors involved. For example, the government, they would like to have that line. The parliament, the Dutch parliament, second chamber, partly some members will support the line, other members will oppose the line. There are provinces and municipalities involved in this project because, okay, maybe they are willing to accept the line crossing their municipality, but only if it is with high noise barriers or things like that. Belgium, in this case, is a very important actor because the line has to connect with Belgium, but where? The negotiations will start immediately if it doesn't take a decision like that to build a line. The lobby, railway companies will be involved in this project, but also technical firms like Siemens, who thinks, yeah, we will support this line because they think if it's going to be built, we want to build it and we can earn a lot of money. So a lot of actors are involved in this complex system.
And when so many actors are involved, do you carry out an actor analysis?
Yeah, in this situation, an actor analysis is very important. For example, it is important to know who opposes the line. Maybe the provinces and municipalities are willing to accept the line crossing their territory, but only with high cost. Maybe it should be built under the ground or with high noise barriers. That increases the cost for this line, and it's important, I think, to before the decision is taken, that people and decision makers know that these extra costs will occur.
In this faculty, we address the concept of complexity a lot. In your opinion, is there a relation between complexity and actors involved in such a project like this?
Of course, in this case, there are many actors with different interests. That makes this project in itself very complex. But those actors have also different expectations of the future. Some think that the cost will be very high. Others say, yeah, well, we can. It will not be too bad with the cost. Some actors will say the revenues will be very high because many people will use this line. Others say, well, I don't think so. So next to actors, next to their interests, there is also high uncertainty related to cost and benefits for these kinds of complex systems.
The second example is a cliché, rather funny example from daily life. Here in the middle you see a girl named Annie. Annie throws a party tonight, while her parents are on holiday. Annie is, however, not alone. What other actors are present? At both sides of the house, neighbors can be found. These neighbors enjoy a peaceful and quiet environment they usually live in, and they want to have a good night of sleep. Of course, the police try to take care of the well-being of the inhabitants in the neighborhood. And, very important, a lot of Annie's friends will show up tonight, looking for a whole lot of fun and a long night of partying.
Please study paragraph 2.1 and 2.2 from the textbook. When you're finished, you can start off with your own case. What actors are involved in this problem situation? Make a list of at least 10 actors. Identify one of the actors as the problem owner. Consider this actor as your virtual client. She hires you as an analyst to help in deciding what to do. When handing in your assignments and reports later in the course, remember it's a form that you dare to present at your client and dare to send a bill for afterwards. While identifying stakeholders and their interest, the experience is that some obvious mistakes are made. Pay attention that you will not do this in your work. Grading of the assignments is for the larger part based on how well you manage to prevent these mistakes from happening. The first trap is that some of the most important stakeholders are simply forgotten. In most cases, this happens because people think with solutions as a starting point. Everyone needed for the solutions is put on the list with stakeholders, but others are not. It is not about who you need for your solutions, but it's who is involved in the problem field. Those are the actors that you should put on your list. Sometimes people ask you to help in analyzing the situations. However, the objective of an analysis is that you help people in making decisions. For this, it is necessary that the one you help indeed has something to choose. In other words, if your client cannot make any changes in the systems you study, there's nothing for that client to choose from. There's nothing he or she can do to make the situation better. So in that case, there's no need for analysis.